Hello folks, and welcome to Wildstar. Hopefully, if I actually did what I intended to do originally, there will be a video before this one explaining where I've been and what's been going on and what will be going on in the future, so I won't burden you down with that. Mostly, it's nearing the end of the open beta week for Wildstar, and I've been messing around with it a little bit towards the end of things, and I figured I would pop up and just kind of give my opinion, talk about it a little bit if you hadn't heard about this game, and maybe... I was going to say talk people into buying it, but that's not my goal here. You may be interested and you may end up buying it, that's cool, but I'm just going to talk about what I think is awesome about this, and why, if I weren't currently a college student strapped for cash, I probably would actually pay a subscription fee for this game. First thing you might notice is, yes, I made a girl character, and it's the girl person with the animal ears. I don't know why I did it. I had a character in a previous closed beta event where I ran through and made like a person of every race, and she happened to be the one I liked the most, mostly for skills, so I just kind of did it again. But I will get to that in a minute. First of all, you can see my... Oh, look at all the stuff I have open here. I have a little notepad dealy that has what I plan on talking about here. So, first of all, I figured I would show off character creation for this game. Boop! Pop into the screen, and it gives you a randomized creature race. A randomized race, randomized alliance, that sort of thing. There are two allegiances to choose from. There are the Exile, and there are the Dominion. And unlike a lot of games like World of Warcraft or, I was gonna say Star Wars The Old Republic, but they kind of went evil. The evil race in this is evil. There's no shades of gray. They are the bad guys. So if you play the bad guy side, you are going to be the, you know, mustache-twirling, cackling evil villain. Unless you want to be the villain with a heart of gold, but the rest of the people around you will not be following that particular trope. If you go for the Exiles, who are, of course, the downtrodden Rebel Alliance type good guys, you have four racial choices. You have the Exile version of humans, you have the Orin, which are the little animal people, and of course everything has male and female. There are the Granok, which are the giant rock ice crystal guys and girls. And then you have the Mordish, who are basically space zombies, but of course they don't want you to call them space zombies. They have this very interesting lore story of they attempted to achieve immortality and accidentally got it sort of right, but not right enough, so they're slowly rotting away and have all these cybernetic implants that keep them alive, and they're trying to, you know, fix that whole situation. On the bad guy side, we have the Cassians, who are the asshole humans, who of course believe that they have the divine right to the entire universe because they might as well. Funnily enough, they're the British and not Americans. You'd think that would be the American line of reasoning. We have the Draken, which are pretty much what you'd expect. They're big dragon guys. Not too smart, but plenty evil. The Chua, who don't even have male and female, they're just kind of androgynous. They are the evil little guinea pig people. They can be far cuter than this horrific randomized mess I got right here. And then there are the Makari, which are the sentient robot people. Oh man, that one's actually got a really cool face. It's like a subwoofer. Huh. And something you may have noticed while I was clicking through these is down below, whenever I select a race, it tells you which of the 6 classes your chosen race can or cannot play. The humans are, of course, the most variable. They can be anything. But the other ones are more specialized because it doesn't really make sense to see the little tiny Chua guy being a warrior swinging a massive hammer around. So, you are limited in that regard. So, let's say, for instance, I went with, let's go robot dude. Okay, so I've chosen my race. Class, you get to choose from Warrior, which is, you know, exactly what you expect. Engineer, which is going to be the supporty, tanky, minion summoning class. Esper, which is the mage. Medic, which is, again, it's a medic. Stalker, which is going to be your Wolverine-style fist claws hack and slasher. Lots of stealth and burst, but once they're out of their burst, they're a little bit vulnerable, so you gotta make sure you kill things quickly. And let me choose a different race so I can show you Spellslinger, which is... I forgot they don't actually change the model when you choose stuff like that. They are the gun-totin', rootin'-tootin'ist shots in the Wild West of space. But they're also sort of a half-mage as well. When you select these, you may have noticed this little block of text is changing to tell you what these are about. It's very interesting that they made the shooting class also a mage because they're very much about teleporting around, applying a lot of debuffs, that sort of thing. But another point about this sort of stuff is every class is actually very, very tweakable. If you go engineer, you can actually go DPS engineer. You can get pets that deal damage or tank for you. You can get abilities that are mostly CC, or you can get abilities that do a lot of damage over time, things like that. The Esper, it's sort of a blast mage class, but it's very, very easy to actually spec based on what abilities you equip into healing and tanking and that sort of thing, and so that's actually really nice. The medic has all sorts of healing stuff, obviously, but they deal in what the players I've seen call dance floors. They actually set up large glowing portions of the field that will either heal allies or just rip enemies to shreds. It's really interesting stuff. Stalker I actually have not seen too much variety in. They seem to mostly be burst damage, but I believe they have a few other options to make them a bit different. Like you can go DOT, or you can go just one big blast of damage all at once. So Spellslinger, as I said, they are magicians, so you can spec into your shooting, or you can spec into more debuffs, buffing your allies. They actually have a few healing abilities as well, which is quite interesting. So they're very interesting. There's a little bit more about the classes and how they work, but I'll get into that later. So I'm going to just hit engineer because... And then you get to choose your path. What this is how do you intend to play the game? What kind of MMO player are you? Soldier, bog standard, you like to kill things. There are points in the world where you can actually stake a claim in the world and fight off a few waves of bad guys for free XP, and then a buff that will then be given to anyone in your party or anyone who comes along the spot of ground that you've fought over. And so they basically, you're going to be progressing, you're going to be killing things, you probably don't care too much about the lore, you just want to slaughter. And so that's what they're good at, and it's fun. I've actually played a little bit. It's more in-depth than you might think going the I want to just kill things route would be. Settler is a bit interesting. There are basically abandoned camps and machine sockets scattered across the world that a settler can find and turn into an actual campsite, so they can light up campfires, which give people small healing buffs or heal them up when they stand nearby. They can set up buff stations, so someone could run up to the station and get a speed boost, or higher health regen, or damage increases, or that sort of thing. There are even little XP buffs that you can place out. And even in towns, you can actually buy settler equipment to add effects and services to non-player cities. There aren't actually player cities, I may get into that later, but just cities that already exist, you can go in and augment them and add in different things, and it will announce to the rest of the server, hey, some settlers have gotten together and added blank to this town, so if you want some healing or applying debuffs to your enemies or whatever, go here and you can find it. So they're interesting. I have not actually tried them myself, but they have actually been very helpful to me as I played both versions of this game. Scientist is if you are lore focused. If you really like the lore of the game, lots of areas are going to be unlockable to the scientist. You have a little robot that follows you around, and you can use it to scan the environment. So you get, details on creatures and things, but you can also scan certain parts of the environment to trigger effects. Like early on in one of the sections I played, if you scan a healing, or if you scan this green crystal formation, it starts to emit a giant healing aura around it. So very useful in combat. You can kite a whole bunch of people over to this thing, and then, you might die because that would hurt you, but then you scan a little rock, you get tons of healing, and suddenly you can win the day with no problems. They also unlock doors to areas with additional side objectives to quests, and can basically just learn more about the world and open up doors in facilities and lost camps and things like that. So, very, very cool. I didn't do too much with the scientist character I made last beta, but what I did do was pretty fun. I'm not a huge lore person. I tend to click through quest info. I wish I didn't, because I am interested, but I'm not interested enough to actually do it half the time, so that's how that goes. Explorer is what I usually choose, and what that is you are all about combing the map for secrets, jumping up mountains, climbing up the rock formations to see what's at the top, and they do a good job of making sure a lot of things that you can climb on have things worth finding at the top. They might be lore books, they might be items for your crafting discipline that you happen to go into, which I'll get into when I actually get into the game here later. Lots of interesting things. I've actually had a few where I found secret cave systems, entire like instanced cave systems that I would not have found if I were an explorer. You can climb halfway up mountains and then find a rock that you wouldn't even notice if you were an explorer, but if you are an explorer, you can examine it and it will discover a new branch of the path that will phase into existence and allow you to get higher up. And when you do this, it does, of course, do it to anyone nearby. So you can actually aid others who aren't explorers in getting to these explorer areas for the same bonuses that you're getting. So that's really fun. That's the kind of way I like to play. I was always sad about World of Warcraft. You could jump, but you couldn't really get anywhere by jumping. I mean, there were a few places, but for the most part, it didn't actually do much for you. Jumping is a lot more interesting in this game. For the heck of it, I'll just go with Scientist for now, just because. And let me show you the character customization here. I'm going to hit randomize all a few times and start with something more interesting. As you can see, there are quite a few options. I like the just fur over the eyes. Alright, so first of all, you got face style. These are a bunch of presets, so you can jump through what kind of base face do you want to work with, because you're going to basically end up looking kind of like this, but you can change around specifics afterwards. So I'm going to go like creepy little kitten face here. You can get hairstyle, which in this case is just the hair. Oh, dude, I could be emo? Yes. Facial hairstyle, so emo and awesome mustache? Tempting. Oh no, we're gonna go with the Wilford Brimley. Eye color doesn't look like it's gonna change too much because we got the giant black eyes. I know, racist. Alright, let's get something that's not like that. There we go. Perfect. Eye color. So we can go around and choose different eye colors. Is there a red? I want to be, like, super evil. Yeah, it's magenta, but close enough. Ear style. Lots of options. Oh, wow, I gotta get beat the hell up. Let's go furry, because that's what we're doing. Hair color. We can be bright blue. We can be bright pink. I think I need to just be Wilford Brimley, though. Ooh. No, he's white. Hair, you know what I mean. And then you get body type, so if I zoom out, you can actually get a build, which you can't really adjust too much, but that doesn't really matter. So we'll go heavy set. And if you want to make it a little bit more your own, because customization options, you really would eventually run out of unique things there, you get this giant drop down to adjust your face. So I can mess with the chin, which you can't really see because I have such a glorious mustache. You can mess with eye size, you can mess with eye height, you can mess with eye socket height, you can do all sorts of crazy things. But I'm not gonna mess with this too much. Yeah, it's not actually changing all that much. This is good enough. We got Wilford Brimley. So there we go. I've suddenly got very excited about something. Probably just being evil, and I'm gonna be Wilmley. And let's move on into the tutorial segment.
I have evidence that exiles may have infiltrated our cryosystems, planting their traitorous agents among loyal Dominion citizens. I require such a citizen to aid me
Yes,
in my
ma'am.
work.
Scans detect what we believe to be several functioning cryopods. No mechanical anomalies. Which one?
That one, right there. Yes, I have an instinctive feeling about that one. And the Makari's instincts are mathematically flawless. None more than my own.
As you say, ma'am. Reading all vitals at optimal. Shall I begin the reanimation procedure?
Yes. Begin as soon as the fail-safes are in place.
All right, we're ready to proceed. This one is definitely the best of the lot, ma'am. Peak physical condition. No sign of tampering with any of the equipment.
Exactly what I require. Yes, I detect potential in this one.
Alright, apologies for any stuttering you may have noticed there. Don't blame the game too harshly. I actually have its settings up pretty high, and I imagine recording is not working too well with it as of right now. I heard a bunch of beeping. I actually cannot tell if that was something in my room or if that was in this game. Anyway, here we go. We have arrived here in the tutorial section. The Exile intro is very much the same, but it has kind of a different feel to it. If I remember to, I will splice that in right here.
I'm sorry, sir. Our last jump to the Nexus system overloaded
Just
the reactor
find
in that
that
section.
cryopod.
This ship is more than 3
She's
centuries
gotta be
old,
there.
and
Sadie Brightland.
I know the name, Mr. Brightland.
Just call me Deadeye. Now quit arguing and get my wife out of cryo.
Internal sensors are out. Ship's records are unreliable at best. Wait, I think I found it. A functioning pod. Firing up the retrieval systems. Magnetic clamps released.
Lucky for you, you found her. Sadie, darling, I'm on. Hey! Hey, be careful!
Sorry. Hydraulics are leaking. Hold on. Damn. Records are wrong. This isn't her. She's in a different silo.
Fine. Then whoever you just woke up is gonna help me track her down.
Reanimation nearly complete. All vitals look solid.
Good. We're gonna need every able-bodied exile we got.
And you will see there much more of a things are kind of falling apart, but we're hopeful we're gonna make it work. And there's the subplot about the guy who saved you who's actually looking for his wife. It's, you know, it's interesting. It gives you kind of a sort of emotional motivation to keep moving and do things right at the beginning. It unfortunately, the opening cinematic is exactly the same for every single character, and the tutorial segment is largely the same for every single character. The only slight differences are you'll get a few different things told to you by some NPCs based on what your class is. Based on your path, you'll have a few different side objectives during the tutorial missions, but otherwise it's pretty much cookie cutter the same. And that threw a lot of people off. Especially when I played the first beta section. People were kind of up in arms about having to play through the same thing over and over again because you can't skip the tutorial. And I think that's a very legitimate complaint, because you will play through, if you like making new characters, which I do, I liked having a bunch of different options to play with and having the different races and the different classes. You have to play through that thing every single time, and it gets really boring. I sort of understand why they have it in there, because you make a few decisions during the tutorial that might affect things later, or at the very least you can farm things and get a few bonus levels. But at the same time, there really just needs to be a I'd like to jump right into the game when I create this character option. But otherwise, I will move on here.
Oh, I know who
Conversations are pretty standard.
And
You stand here, you get your options.
what you've
I've woken up, and you can have side conversations. Anything that is not this bright white is just discussing what's going on before you move on in the quest. So blah 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 blah, and then
delays
boom,
would
moved
be
on.
most unfavorable.
As in most games,
Especially for
exclamation
you.
points are quests. In this case, the silver exclamation points is they gave you a quest and you can ask them about it, but it's not a new quest. There are no right or wrong answers. Do you understand? Yes. Excellent loyalty test commencing. Do you enjoy communicating with nature? Fuck no. Who likes nature? Test negative for Orin influence. Are you a fan of Artemis Zinn? I believe that's an evil person. Yes.
I don't think this one success means that you are
Okay, then.
indispensable.
I can click on my objective here. Bink. And, oh, I need to go over there. This is actually friggin' handy. Like, this is easy mode. If you click this, you go right where you need to. Some people would probably rather explore on their own, but if you'd rather not, or if you are just lost and you just cannot find where you need to go, you can click your quest, boom, that's where you're going. Super handy, and it has helped me out of quite a few quests. If I run this way, eventually, I should,
I want you
wait, what am I doing?
Apply extremely forceful
Oh. Persuade them.
Persuasion.
Do something. Okay. I guess I've got to interrogate. Oh! The fun means of interrogation. How dare you? How dare I? I'm willingly. I can dare anything I want. Yeah! Get some! You too!
Teach our enemies a lesson they will
Alright, so as you probably saw,
forget.
the percentage slowly climbed until eventually, boom, my mission was finished here. And if I click it now, oh, apparently I'm actually, am I not done? Oh, this one is specifically shifty. This is the problem. I didn't zap him for some reason. Well, he's shifty, so he's probably evil. Oh, yep, Dominion scum. Hey, that's our word. Oh, and he silently got shot to death. Yeah, this is actually still in beta. I had thought this game had released, but it is still in beta. They're fixing a few things. There are a couple cutscenes that are not quite queued up. As you probably heard in the beginning, their sound queuing is not quite 100% yet, but it's close. Wait. Damn it, there's still more. Scan suspicious citizen using scan console. Ah. Now, this is this little gear symbol is the symbol for things to use. Boop. Scanning for exile tampering. Looks like they were all okay.
They were fools to oppose the Empire.
Oh, no. Apparently, they found some. Oh, I see. They had impure thoughts. This is a kind of a 1984 situation. Everyone's always being watched, and your brain is the most dangerous thing that you have. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna move on now. We'll speak to Emperor Wait, what? Mercalus. Is it just purposely misspelled miraculous? Is that what they were going for there? And there are a lot of, oh yes, the check mark. I was waiting for this because I wanted to continue my discussion of quest markers are about the same. Rather than the gold question mark that they had in WoW and several other MMOs, is a gold check mark in this game when you are ready to complete a quest. Bing! Hooray, I'm done.
I'm not done yet.
And, for the most part,
Prepare yourself
every
for
quest will give you another quest, which then leads you on to do other things. So, fairly standard. I will bring up while I'm in here, this layout, this cross-shaped layout where you come in, do something in the middle, turn left, go over there, exactly the same layout as the Exile tutorial. Though, for the Exiles you spend more time in the middle, here you spend more time off to the side. It's still smacks of a little bit of laziness, but at the same time it's probably also ease. While here, I might as well show you the movement commands, which I have been not talking about. It's fairly standard WSAD. If you hold down right-click, your mouse disappears, and you can use it to rotate the camera as you move. It's pretty nice. If you double-tap in a direction, you dodge like that. Later in the game, when you actually have... Oh, actually, it's going to do it right now. You have a limited number of dodges, because dodging is actually very important to combat, so you have to wait for them to recharge between dodges. So you can't just dodge everywhere. It's not the fast way of getting around. That would be sprinting, which is also limited in its use and will eventually run out, and you'll be back to walking for a bit and it'll slowly recharge. It's not too bad of a delimiter. You can, if you work hard, you can get mounts pretty early on in the game. The most fun part of this game is jumping. Okay, is jumping, but there's double jumping, which honestly seems like a super small thing. It helps the enjoyment of moving around a whole lot when you can double jump. A lot of times you'll run through town and see two people running towards each other, and one of them will just whoop over the other one and keep going. And I don't know why that sort of bare bones interaction is fun to me. And also, it's of course very nice for exploration. You can climb over a lot of area walls by just double jumping up them, to the point where I actually crossed a wall in an early area and came in the back of a much higher area. And thankfully, using the same tools, I was able to kind of hug the wall all the way around and get out without having to jump back to where I'd come from. But it is a bit dangerous if you're not paying attention while you're exploring. Now, interestingly enough, this one seems to just be jumping right on into the next area. Oh, nope, here we go.
Greetings, loyal citizen. We have just completed a great journey across the stars, and planet Nexus now lies before us. The fulfillment of our ancient destiny is at hand. Although the Dominion is emerging from a time of darkness, I swear to you by the Elden blood in my veins that I will lead our empire into a new age of greatness on the sacred homeworld of our forefathers. Citizens like you will make this possible. Prepare yourself for the challenge to come.
Gotta
Hang on,
admit,
Sadie.
friend,
We'll
I'm
be
surprised
there
we
soon.
made it this far. Us exiles, we've been on the run from the Dominion for a long time. And this old ship's on her last leg. Strange to think that we might just finally get a new home. I wouldn't exactly call myself personable, but I feel like if we all just stick together, we might just be okay. And I ain't above shooting anyone who thinks different. It looks like we're here. I'm obliged for your help, friend. Glad I didn't kill you.
Yeah, so there's a, fun little... This is the kind of person you'll be dealing with in your chosen alliance cutscene. In the good guy side, it is dealing with the guy whose wife you helped save, talking about how he doesn't really like people. He's actually an outlaw, but he's really grateful that you helped him. It kind of shows the same sort of thing. It scans through the ship and shows you what their technology level is kind of like. Whereas this one, everything's pristine and red and gold and imperialistic. The Exile one is, of course, covered in patchwork, and there are people who are sticking things together with bolts and duct tape. So it's kind of funny. I'm a big fan, actually, of this game's art style. There are a few points where, like, this tree is kind of... I don't know. But I like the style of it. The characters are really fun. The animations when you get cutscenes are really cool. If you ever watched any of their YouTube content, they had a lot of things discussing the different player classes and paths and things, and those are actually really funny. They're really nice. Sort of a Ratchet and Clank-ish style, and that's right up my alley. Might not be yours. I know a lot of people who don't really like that sort of take on things, but if it is, then awesome. What am I talking? I'm talking to Mondo Zax. Suppose he's gone where he pleased. I just want to get far enough into this to show you some of the combat mechanics, which I believe is what they're doing right now.
In charge? Mondo. Test
Okay.
subject. You proceed now.
He has told me to move on, and I'm in here. What am I doing? Activate cerebral rehabilitator controls. Oh. And of course, you're brainwashing people.
Job.
Except that one, unfortunately, was on fire. We'll hope for better results on this one.
Hello.
No
And
such luck.
what
They
Mondo
had exploded.
expected at all. It happens.
And we'll try this one. It seems...
Great gears of
seems
this.
nope. Nope, that's bad. Well, time to go kill things. Hopefully. No, we turned him on his axe. Damn it! I'm getting ahead of
You're a go
myself.
with Mondo. Dread not finished with you.
There we go. Hunt down.
Still alive.
Talk to this dude. Get my weapon. Okay, so if I press I, boom, I got my weapon. And I can equip it. And chunk, there it is on my back. And I can now press P, pop up my character screen, and I can sheath or unsheath my weapon. And this has a bunch of your various stats, your set bonuses if you happen to have sets of armor. You can set yourself with a title, but I have not actually even done anything enough to gain one. What's your reputation with various factions? Do you have a mount? All that fun stuff. And this was one of the few games I found similar to, I think Guild Wars does this, where you can have costumes, that is, armor that people see that is not the armor you're wearing. I'm fairly certain this that setup is disabled in PvP, because that seems like it'd be a bit of an unfair advantage to hide what you're actually wearing. But if you have like an early set of armor that you think, oh, this looks like really nice clothing, you can get it out of your inventory and put it into a costume once you find the appropriate NPC to set up that stuff for you, and wear it even though you're getting the stats of the actual armor you're wearing. So that is very nice. You can also get dyes to dye the armor to match various things. So if you're the kind of person who likes to make your clothing look nice, that is quite possible for you. So, as you may see on the ground here, looks like those two are not working the way they should, but this one over here is. You'll see in a second. Oh, there we go. Oh, I lit myself on fire. That red square that appeared there for a second is what they call a... Oh, shoot. I've forgotten what they call it. But it's basically a indicator of where attacks are going. That one was pretty darn fast for how things normally work. But players actually have the same thing. So I only have one ability right now. It's my one key, and this is going to be basically my auto attack. There is no actual auto attack. Everything is a skill-shotted ability in this game. Or at the very least, it requires you to cast something, even if it's on a specific target. So if I hover my mouse over my ability, you can see here I have this sort of staggered cone effect. And based on where things are standing in this, I will deal more damage to them and gain a class-specific resource. This is not standard. Most classes do not have this sort of weird shape. The Engineer has a lot of these sort of squared-off, angular shapes, which is very kind of cool. It fits their theme of lots of machines and chunks and pieces and parts. And as you can see in the bottom right there, it describes this ability. It has its range, its cast time, its cooldown, and how it works. So if I press 1, which I have a fancy mouse with buttons on the side, there is the cast time, and then it fires. And you can see in the bottom, as I fire, that is loading up that bar here. And I believe, yeah, it starts to dissipate as when out of combat. So it only lasts for a short time. This V button that has popped up here is how looting works. You don't technically loot the monsters, they just, when they die, they explode. And when they explode, you press V and there, I got that little piece, which was... I don't know. Oh, it was a quest item. It was the tissue sample. So let me kill this one as well. And let's see if he has any attacks. Enemies do have just basic auto attacks that can't be dodged. Those are generally far, far weaker than anything else they might bring in. It looks like these guys are not special in any way, however, they're just gonna whack at me like that. So I'm just gonna shoot them and get this quest over with.
Science achieved.
There we go. Oh, shot! Shoot! I hit that one in the background. There we go. All right. So I did fill up my bar here, but unfortunately, because I only have my one ability, I don't have anything to spend that resource on at the moment. Oh god! Alright. So, now that I'm no longer on fire, I will also discuss the R key ability, which is something that every class has. It's the same for every class. There's no, as far as I've seen so far, there is no option for this. Let me see. Oh. Well, looks like maybe later this will be something that you can swap out. But for now, it is simply a large class ability that you can use every so often, in this case a minute. And it's sort of a buff. It's not something you're likely to use more than once per combat, though you could. It's generally supposed to be something that you pop in the middle of combat or right at the beginning to give you a bit of a boost in moving forward. Oh, was I not supposed to place these somewhere? Damn it. Where? Oh good, I was supposed to leave the room at least. Thank goodness.
Science's search for answers. Did you get some? I hope so. For you.
I like this guy. Anyway, if I press B, is it... Oh, it does work right now. This is your list of abilities that you'll eventually be getting. They are sorted into specifically damage, so assault class stuff. Support, which is usually going to be healing, tanking, getting aggro off of creatures onto yourself so that you keep your allies safe. Let's see what we get stuff like here. Here's some deal some damage. If you left a reflecting attack. Okay, this actually seems like it's more of a something you use after defending. You can then retaliate. Ricochet. There we go. This one, yeah, threat generation and endurance gain. It's usually stuff like that. They will do damage. Most abilities do damage, but that they have secondary uses in those cases. Utility. It's going to be stuff that you may get it for damage, but it's nice for stun in this case. Looks like you blow yourself backwards, so it's sort of a self-forced movement. Increases your defense. Oh, it's a field. Okay, so that's going to be an area of effect, ally assisting ability. And then your path class, which in my case I am scientist, so I get dazzle the target. I get all numbers group teleport to your current location. Oh, whew, that sounds really super handy actually. As the explorer, I actually got an ability to...
Maybe not. Be careful.
I got an ability to completely halt all vertical momentum, so that I can leap off of a, you know, mile-high building, stop myself right before the bottom, and drop safely to the ground. Super handy, actually, for the explorer, but also just in general for getting around cities and things, so really nice. And as you get these, sorry, I don't know why I closed that yet, you will be able to purchase them as you hit the required level, and slot them into your bar down here, and then save your action set. Eventually you'll be able to get multiple sets that you can swap through and select pretty much on the fly. I don't think you can do it in combat, but you can, between killing one creature and killing the next, you can swap to an entirely different list of abilities, hit use set, and you keep going. So that's really nice. You can change up what you're using all the time. So if you go through and you spend the money and hit the levels required to get every ability unlocked, you can technically have all of them available to you more or less at once. And as I found when I was playing my other character, I actually started to get bored of doing the same old 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 1 sort of ability cycle. But it did occur to me, I can change that. I'm only doing that because it's what I found effective, but it doesn't have to be the only thing I do. So it is merely an option. Secondary in the action set builder, you have amps. These are small background buffs that you apply to yourself every couple levels. Every level you get at least one, but I don't know what level it starts at. But you'll get things like you increase your assault power, which is more or less your damage, you increase your lifesteal, so when you deal damage you get some health back, lower your cooldowns, that sort of thing, and these are also tied to action sets, so you can have multiple pages of these that you apply to different action sets. These are a little harder to mess around with because they do charge you a small amount of cash that I believe ramps up each time you do it to reset your page and do it again. So you may have two different pages, but if you want to change one of those pages, you have to pay a small amount to do it again. So I'm a bit annoyed about that. I'm the kind of person who's paranoid about, oh, maybe I didn't do this optimally. Do I have to go back and do it again? And so I'd rather just kind of not care about it until I have as many as I'll ever have. Then I'll go back and actually make it as good as I can. So I don't know. It's not my style of page, but it's there for people who like to min-max their stats, and yeah, it's not bad. And some of these actually unlock abilities, so a couple of these abilities are locked by level. This one is unlocked through amps, as you can see. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. Let me see what else I have. Move mechanics, combat, and dodging. I'll show a little bit more of that later. Okay, I think for now I'm going to quit off of this guy, and I will show you my character who's actually in the game and a little bit farther along.